wonders of cinema, brought to you by the IGNProLeague. And down the bottom left part of this map, we have our blue Zerg player from Evil Geniuses. It is the one, the only. It is EG.IdrA. And in the upper right, we have our red Terran player from the Team Prime. Everybody knows this guy, a player who I feel really does not need any more introduction than that. It is MarineKing.
Yes, it is. And so MarineKing versus EG.IdrA, this is certainly a match of two of the most popular players in the entire world. Even some
pretty much
history a little bit recently. EG.IdrA on State of the Game recently saying that MarineKing was, what was it, quote, terrible? Or he called him very overrated, but
he said he was bad. He said he just does random blankety blank. I can't say it on the cast, but you guys get the idea. So
blankety blank, those are strong statements.
So the question is, here's a chance for EG.IdrA to back up his statements. Here's a chance for MarineKing to smack him down. And we'll have to see which one of it is. We already know, good news, it's not a 6 pull from EG.IdrA, so that's good. Good start already there.
And good news as well, inevitably, there will be balance questions at the end of this game because everyone will either say, oh, EG.IdrA wins because Zerg is overpowered, or, oh, MarineKing, Korean player EG.IdrA will never have his chance to stand up to him. He can't compete with top Koreans anymore, LOL.
Wow.
So this is going to be troll-filled, and I can't wait for the end of this game. It doesn't matter who wins.
It could be a bit of a trolly game.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Nothing really out of the ordinary just yet. MarineKing getting his barracks at a pretty normal time, normal position. Ooh, but a second barracks for MarineKing going down by the Xel'Naga Watchtower. And that's actually in a place where if EG.IdrA does not scout cross positions first, he won't see it. But he is scouting cross positions first, and he will see the barracks and probably delay that. He may even get a cancel. I don't see another SCV on the way for MarineKing, so I think this barracks is not going to ever finish.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So MarineKing certainly going to have to cancel that in a second. He is actually sending out another SCV right now, so he may decide to run one away. Actually, it's down to 5 hit points. He's trying to build it as long as possible. This is super cute.
He gets it.
MarineKing still loses the SCV, though. Another one trying to back up his compadre, and he's like, hey, dude, what's going on? Oh, you're dead.
It's like, don't worry, I'll succeed where this other SCV failed. He was weak. But the fact is, I mean, even if he does finish the barracks, it's going to be really, you know, not really delayed, but a little bit delayed. And oh, man. Oh, he doesn't actually finish it. EG.IdrA forcing away 2 SCVs there. And even though the Marine is showing up right now, this barracks is going to be so late.
And EG.IdrA going to try and go around the side and pick off that SCV still. Once they get in there and delay this, the barracks is just about complete. And it looks like EG.IdrA is going to run away with his drone.
I don't think any Zerg player has ever been more prepared for 2 barracks pressure than EG.IdrA is in this game right now against MarineKing. I mean, not only did he see it right away, but he also did delay it plenty as well. So he really shouldn't have any problems defending this. I mean, I don't think MarineKing's going to put a lot of pressure on with this. In fact, he's already moving his Marines back. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to even try it. But even if he did, I mean, EG.IdrA would be more than prepared, I would think, at this point. He should be. I mean, if he takes a lot of damage from this, that'd be kind of embarrassing.
Well, 8 Zerglings making their way across the map. Looks like the Marines are going to get position on the Xel'Naga Tower. Of course, if they sit inside that little ring right there with the vision of the Xel'Naga Tower, they could pick off a couple of Zerglings before they make their way in.
Right.
But EG.IdrA not just content with 8lings, making an additional 4, putting down a Spinecrawler right now.
That's a good idea. I mean, you can't, it's really bad to underreact, obviously, to this. I mean, it is still 5 Marines. That's a lot of damage for Zerg to take care of early in the game. So it makes sense that EG.IdrA want to make sure he's absolutely safe against something like that. He knows the command center for MarineKing is going to be late, so he can afford to use some larvae on Zerglings rather than drones right now. And with 1 spine, he should be okay with this, even with the high Marine count. 6 Marines, 7 Marines rather. It's pretty substantial. That's a scary force.
And here comes EG.IdrA down the ramp now. That's quite a few Zerglings. Looks like he is going to try and get the surround. Successfully gets it. EG.IdrA does kill off quite a few Marines there. Finally, MarineKing does pull back with the vast majority of his forces, but all those Marines are goners.
Yeah, no problem at all for EG.IdrA. He's got plenty of Zerglings to handle this. Back home, he's making some more drones. May want to consider pulling back here, as you don't want that disparity between Lings and Marines to get too high. Oh, look at that. MarineKing saving 1 Marine, loses another one, but at the end of the day, things going pretty well for EG.IdrA overall.
Yeah, very true. MarineKing putting up a 3rd base, sitting over at his 3rd right now. EG.IdrA has not put up another hatchery, no macro hatch, nothing like that at the moment. Just a few additional Lings and a few drones for now. Worker count is 32 to 23 in favor of EG.IdrA at the moment, and he does scout with that Zergling that actually could have been killed by the Marine that was sitting at the Xel'Naga Tower.
That SCV could kill that Zergling. Oh, but he doesn't attack it in time. The Zergling down to 2 hit points. And that is just annoying for MarineKing. I mean, everything's just been so delayed here. Now, MarineKing, you know, obviously isn't out of the game just yet or anything like that. He's taken a couple little delays early in the game, but this is still a style that he's very comfortable with playing. He likes to get his 3 command centers very early, likes to get that 2 gas. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all to still see him try to go for that double upgrade style. Very Marine heavy, very MarineKing-esque style of TVZ. And he's still got a decent chance. Yep, there we go. A couple more barracks going down.
Yeah, going to be 5 in total.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of Marine pressure, not just a little bit. Nia's pinking quite a bit of gas at the moment. There we go. Tech Lab #1 started. No additional reactors or anything like that for the minute. His gas income is going to be pretty high very soon, though.
So here's my big question about what IdrA's doing right now. Does he have a Baneling nest yet? I didn't notice if he had built one or not. It'd be pretty early if he did. Yeah, just those 2 Evo chambers. So he may even decide to try to skip the Baneling nest. I mean, IdrA, ever the macro Zerg, not going to be inclined to do any sort of like Baneling bust because he knows he's got a bit of a lead, whereas some other Zergs, like I would say DRG, you know, would maybe try to go for something like that in this situation. But IdrA just going to go ahead and play it safe, and at this point where he knows he's not going to be under a whole lot of early Marine pressure from this, is going to probably just skip that Baneling nest, and I think that's, for once, I think that's probably okay to do.
And MarineKing is going to have to pick up this barracks here eventually. Does so, moving it out of the way. And actually, yeah, that's 6 barracks up. I apologize, because he did have the one sitting in the middle of the map. Just all Marine upgrades for now.
Yeah, I mean, we're still going to probably see MarineKing hit around the, what, like 11 minute with this or something like that, with the timing with the upgrades, 11, 12 minutes or so. So, I mean, IdrA's going to need to worry about that at that time, but that'll give him plenty of time to get a good 3-base economy going. The worker count, I got to say, is pretty good for MarineKing. I mean, he has not slacked at all in terms of macro and economy, and you know, despite the kind of delays here and there, IdrA hasn't really been able to do any, you know, lasting economic damage to MarineKing either. So both players still in a pretty good position despite kind of a crazy early game.
And there is layer tech and a Baneling nest coming up for IdrA now, so starting to move into that later tech stage. Also doing a very nice job of creep spread as well, so we can see already out through the middle of the map. He's got several queens dedicated to it, so his macro is quite good, his creep spread is good, he's continuing to add on, you know, he's continuing to add on hatcheries as well. He just hasn't been able to do too much damage to MarineKing yet. Finally has a factory on the way now.
Yeah, I don't think IdrA's too interested in doing damage at this point. It's adding on that Baneling nest a little bit later on. I mean, it's kind of part of the build at this point, but didn't need to put that reactionary down early like a lot of Zergs do have to. Lair is getting pretty close to done, too, so I'm wondering if we are going to see Mutalisks possibly from IdrA, or if he's just going to go straight for Infestors. He has done both many, many times in the past, so it's kind of tough to predict. I feel like on this map, Mutas are okay, but with the huge amount of Marines that MarineKing is going for, might not be bad to just jump right over to Infestors just to have that fungal growth ready. And IdrA is going to go for a Spire, though. Okay, so he's going to give it a try.
And I like a couple of things that IdrA's doing here. He does have that Spire coming up, as you mentioned. He's already broken down the rocks running up to this path here in the middle. If this gets into the very, very late game, which we've seen on Entombed Valley happen, well, pretty much every game, with the exception of super early pools, you know, I mean, it's very easy for a Terran player to have a very defensible position up there. Pretty tight choke points coming up there. Planetary Fortress can watch basically all of that. So good decision by IdrA to break that open right now and make sure that he retains control over that part of the map.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good base for him to take, too. It's something that's a little bit more defensible as well. So it's a good location for a 5th base. He's already got his 4th on the way here, too, and MarineKing not really able to put any sort of pressure on him yet at this point. Once the medevacs come out, that's going to be a different story. That's when I think we're going to see MarineKing pushing out a little bit. He's already moving out a bit at the moment, but he could also be thinking about securing a 4th as well. There's a pretty strong attack coming across the map from MarineKing. As you can see, he's kept up in supply. His macro's always been really, really good, you know, since the very beginning, since like GSL Open Season 2, you know, he was always going for lots of command centers really quickly, and the upgrades are pretty decent as well.
IdrA has to pull back these queens. Unfortunately, they will just die if they sit there. Look at the spread from MarineKing as he starts to move forward there. Fanning out the units, dropping down a scan as well to clean up some creep tumors. The Banelings are already morphed in now for IdrA. He's got 4 Mutalisks on the way, but needed to produce quite a few defensive units to make sure that he doesn't take any damage from this.
Well, he's going to have to get a great engagement to handle this properly. I mean, with Fungal, obviously, you can hold Marines in place, but when you have just Zerglings, Banelings, and Mutas, you really have to get a really good flank. And it's tougher to do once you do lose that creep spread in the middle of the map. So that's why we see, you know, MarineKing putting a priority on that. Obviously, IdrA does have his first couple mutas out. They're not going to be really a good help in this fight that's coming up. but he will be able to kind of swing around the back and deny more bases, do a little bit of harassing, and here comes IdrA.
All right, starting to swing in now. The Banelings do get a couple of pretty nice hits there.
Yeah.
We'll see if MarineKing can split well enough to take out the rest of the forces, and he does.
He certainly can.
Zergling's starting
man.
to filter in now, and quite a few Mutalisks went down there for IdrA.
Yeah, that was rough. Oh, but here comes wave 2 from IdrA, and it looks like it's just barely going to be enough to clean this up. Yeah, only 2 medevacs out for MarineKing, and the Mutas are going to chase those away as well, if not kill them. That rallied medevac was going to wish it was rallied somewhere else.
Yeah, and IdrA prevented any economic damage from being done right there. Factory is scouting around, as we can see outside of the natural.
That's I'm like pointing at the mini map on the screen, like, oh look, it's a red blob, but no, it's just a factory. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we try to remind each other whenever possible, being supportive of our co-casters, and
of course.
But yes, just a factory taking a scout. So,
yeah, thanks for looking at it though.
No problem.
I appreciate that.
Got your back.
Thank you. You have the fans back. The fans deserve to see what that red dot is in the minimap.
That's true. We'll look at it again. It's still a factory, but it's on fire.
It's all about them. So, IdrA going for flyer carapace here, so planning on doing some actual fighting with these Mutalisks a little bit. This was a style that Lenok really liked to do back in the day. He was one of the few Zergs in Korea to really prioritize flyer carapace. So it's kind of cool to see IdrA going for something like that, going for this more aggressive style of Ling, Muta, Baneling, and IdrA trying to trap those Marines, and he does a pretty decent job of it.
Yeah,
not bad.
The Banelings haven't been able to connect yet, but there they go, finally landing on all the rest of the forces, and MarineKing has taken quite a bit of damage now, and this base is certainly under attack.
Well, I mean, IdrA just got such a strong free economy early in the game with that opening by MarineKing that it's going to be tough for MarineKing to handle this, man. He's pulling SCVs against Ling Baneling. That's not something you usually want to do.
No, not at all, because those Banelings will make very short work of those SCVs. Tries to repair up the orbital command, but is unable to do so. So MarineKing going to be sitting on 3 bases for quite a while, shifting back those SCVs now as IdrA takes the map. Base number 5 coming up at the moment.
Yeah, Terran is still pretty scary on 3 bases, so IdrA still does need to be careful. The upgrades are still really good for MarineKing as well. But unless he does some significant damage fast, IdrA is going to start to really just outpace him more than he has already. I mean, that's the thing again, is that IdrA just has not had his economy touched this game. I mean, if you look on the resources lost, I think maybe he's lost like 1 drone or something.
Yeah.
Go ahead and look at open up the units lost tab. I want to see how many he's actually. Control R.
Control R. Oh, just this one, the big one. I see what you're saying.
Okay, yeah. So actually, MarineKing has not killed a single drone yet of EG.IdrA. So that's when you let a player like IdrA not lose any drones, you're basically just asking for trouble. And that's why, you know, we see IdrA coming in here and like barely winning an engagement, but then right away flooding in with another wave of units just because his economy is just out of control right now.
Now, MarineKing still does have a significant army, still at 171 supply. Running the Marauders to the front as well to try and stop some of the Banelings. And look at the target fire out of the middle of that. MarineKing needed a big engagement win like that and certainly got it. Really well done.
Yeah, man, that 4th base is pretty much all but secured as soon as your members have finished building it. There we go. That helps. IdrA, though, he's already got Hive Tech. The Corruptors are out. The Greater Spire is done right now. And he's also got another Greater Spire, or another Spire rather, getting upgrades too. So the Broodlords are coming, and if IdrA can get a lot of those out, MarineKing's going to have a hard time with it. Here we go. He does have Infestors now. Hard to split against those.
Yeah, Fungal Growth locking down a few forces there. Where are the Banelings going? Unfortunately, not connecting with a lot of forces, and IdrA once again going to be pushed back. Infestors dying as they try to retreat as well.
Yeah, MarineKing really needing to kill off a couple bases here, and that's what he's trying to do. And he's doing a really good job of it. I mean, killing a lot of creep tumors here. There's 3 Broodlords on the way, but that's not a whole lot. IdrA doesn't have a very high infestor count right now, so he could be in a bit of danger, although this army is a bit small to be this far forward.
It is really exposed at the moment. Baneling's connecting and taking out most of the bio forces there, and it looks like IdrA, he took out the first line of defenses, but MarineKing does swing back in with another big bio force, and it looks like he's going to go right for this base.
Oh, man, this hatchery could go down. This is such, well, you know, I feel like IdrA had the lead for a long time, but MarineKing killing that 4th base, that's a good step in the right direction to come back here.
It most certainly is. Zergling's going to try and take out everything else here and do a little damage, but unfortunately they're all cleaned up and the Broodlords can't get in position. And Marine King, of course, going back home, now sitting, oh wow, on an orbital command in the middle once again, feeling very secure once that economic advantage that provides.
That's right. So the big thing now for Marine King is to keep his Marines alive so that he can kill the Broodlords, because he doesn't have Vikings. He's still making medevacs. He's not even worrying about it. He's basically just saying, all right, I'm just trusting myself to get my Marauders in the right position so that Banelings don't kill my Marines, and then I'm just going to use my Marines to just get underneath the Broodlords and take those out. I've got enough medevacs to deal with it. And
he is researching +1 ship weapons, though, so he will eventually move into Vikings. Just kind of a matter of time.
It shows you just how much confidence he's got in his Marine control, though, to be able to just kind of say, all right, I know there's Broodlords out, but let me just get a few more medevacs out. You know, most players would be like, I need Vikings yesterday, and start just immediately making them, throwing down like another starport or two. But Marine King's pretty confident. He's a pretty brave guy.
Yeah, he certainly is. Looks like he's going to run through the middle of the map now, leading with his Marauders, so he tanks a little bit of damage, trying to get his Marines in position as well. Banelings trying to roll through. They do connect with a few of the Marines, but look at that, picking up inside of the medevacs as well to keep most of the units alive. Zerglings are going to get cleaned up, but the Broodlords may be enough to push the rest of the army back, but they have to get out of there.
Yeah, IdrA, the nice thing is that he's got a lot of Overlords there as well, so a lot of Marines firing at those and not the Broodlords. And does he have enough Marines to handle this? He does take one down. A second Broodlord goes down. 3 remaining. Fungal going down on those Marines. If IdrA can kill those Marines, he's going to be in a great spot. It looks like he does.
Yeah, now Marine King does have to back out at the moment. He's starting to go into Viking production now, but he has enough medevacs that he basically has a medevac for every Bioforce that's on the field.
A medevac for every Marauder.
Yes.
That's like the Terran, you know, political campaign slogan or whatever.
Medevac
for every Marauder.
We support our troops.
That's right. They're
really, honestly, they should just campaign to raise the supply limit on their armies. That's what I would do. But
that's the thing. But then you have to deal with the we're sinking too much into our military funding. Do we really need 300 supply in the Terran Dominion army?
That's true. So
yeah, this money could be going to like feeding the homeless on Tarsonis or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Terran education has been lacking lately too.
That's true. You know, they're lagging way behind a lot of the other dominions, and
public education is not quite what it used to be.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, it's because, you know, they're training them for the tests and all that, right? Manx is just like, we have to have these kids pass tests.
Teach to the test, don't teach a student.
Life imitates art. Oh, that Zergling is a commando, man. It's like Rambo Zergling. Oh, now there's lots of Rambo Zerglings.
Yeah, they're actually going to take out all these SEVs here. So Marine King, unfortunately, losing quite a few workers, as we can see, 20 so far in this game. Still sitting on 56, and he has 5 orbital commands, 6 actually with this one in the middle. So his mineral income is certainly not going to be affected by that.
Well, that's a lot of Marines, but again, you know, some well-placed fungal growths could really do a good job here. But Marine King knows that. He's pulling back. He's being safe. He's actually playing this really well. But IdrA is just—he's just so, I don't know. He's so far ahead. Like, economically, he never really took that damage that you need to do to prevent this type of thing from happening. And here comes IdrA. Does he have enough right here?
We'll find out. The Banelings, actually able to connect on quite a few units if they're able to hit everything. I'm not sure where they went in the back there. The Infestors taking some damage up in the front, and we'll see if Marine King has enough to drive off the Broodlords.
The Broodlords going down to those Marines, and IdrA losing pretty much everything, but there are 8 Ultralisks in the production queue right now, and this is going to be a pretty devastating switch to Marine King. I mean, he's got some Marauders, but he has switched over to mostly Marines because of the Broodlords. So IdrA could use this to his advantage, but I think he might pay for it with a base here before anything else happens.
11 Marines being produced at a time, no additional Marauders quite yet. Yes, and you are right, IdrA is going to lose that base there, and that was one of his more critical mining bases, trying to trap some of the units or reinforcements that are making their way out. Certainly can't engage with that quite yet, but does have Banelings and Infestors, and now Ultras rolling up as well.
He's getting ready. I mean, he's getting ready to engage that force, and if Marine King has to load up into the medevacs, IdrA, you know, may be able to, well, he doesn't really have a lot of Corruptors out anymore to take advantage of that. And here we go, Banelings and Ultras and Zerglings. Oh my.
Oh my, yeah. Well, there's a fair number of Ultras left over after the Zerglings and Banelings have done their damage, so he repels the force, and Marine King has to pick up once again. We're pretty close in supply. Yet again, Marine King has secured himself his 5th base, well, as soon as he decides to move his orbital command over to reflect that. But
what an awesome game, man. I mean, IdrA's keeping up. Oh, good fungal, and he gets one of the medevacs that has units in it. Marine King has to drop. Oh, another fungal. IdrA's like, all right, now I know for sure
Yeah.
And he's just going to lose all those bio units as well. You know what? That's better than losing the medevacs, I got to say.
Oh, but losing these mules is certainly going to hurt, especially when they were so full of energy. And unfortunately, this Ultralisk force is just growing way too large.
Yep. Those mules had such an enthusiasm for life. They were so full of happiness and joy.
Well, good to see the,
for like 90 seconds.
Progressive Terran program still in check, as we do have 4 more medevacs on the way. It'll bring us up to a total of 19. That is an insane number of medevacs, but of course MarineKing needs some survivability against this force, which is just getting devastatingly strong. Oh, really good fungal growth, pinning the units down in place. The Ultralisk taking damage, dealing out a little bit of AoE themselves, and MarineKing being driven back once again.
Oh, that was like a worst case scenario for MarineKing right there, getting all those units fungled. I don't think he was expecting IDRA's forces to be so far ahead on the map right now, and IdrA suddenly taking the offensive over to MarineKing's side of the map again.
Yeah, I mean, even though supplies don't look that bad. Oh, Baneling's going to kill a lot of SCVs here. Look at how much supply is tied up in Vikings and medevacs there. I mean, there's almost no attack units on the field.
Merciful Banelings are like thinking about it. All right, I guess we'll kill all these gatherers. Why not?
And MarineKing just barely able to stabilize once again, but he has taken quite a bit more economic damage. He's down to just 29 SCVs.
I think IdRA's going to do it, man. I mean, he's 50 supply up right now. MarineKing hardly has any mining going at all. 6 more Ultras and 12 Lings on the way. IdRA's economy still going so strong this game. It's going to be tough for MarineKing to come back from this point.
MarineKing trying to take some other bases, but of course IdrA already has those units down. And as Reddit has told us today, it takes 60 seconds for a creep to fully recede off of a maxed Overlord, so that's still an extra minute that that MarineKing is going to be delayed.
Oh, losing a Infestor there, that always hurts a little bit. And MarineKing is starting to catch up in supply again. I mean, if you're going mostly Marines, a low number of bases really goes a long way in StarCraft 2. So Terran players can just really legitimately sit on low bases like this and be very competitive all game long.
Okay, well, this Viking has been patrolling the entire time here, knows that another base is indeed up.
He's got that covered.
Yes.
No problem.
Hey, there's still a base here, just so you guys know.
Roger.
It looks like MarineKing trying to pull some forces out of place for IdrA, but IdrA not biting on that, running right through the middle of the map. The Ultras getting a pretty good engage once again as fungal growth start to lock down quite a few units. MarineKing getting yet more medevacs fungled over and over again and is on his last legs.
Well, MarineKing's doing the right thing here. I mean, he was concentrating more on fungling groups of medevacs than anything else. Oh, and he lets a bunch of them get away. But if he can reduce that medevac count that MarineKing has right now, that's going to go a long way in finishing this game. Once MarineKing doesn't have all that ridiculous healing on his bio forces, he's going to be in a pretty good shape. Looks like both players have kind of traded blows economically, but again, you know, IdrA just really far ahead. What's the income right now, though? I'm kind of curious with all the mules out. Yeah, IdrA is still kind of almost doubling MarineKing right now, even with workers and mules, although the worker count for MarineKing is pretty low at this point.
And now IdrA is maxed once again, so starting to roll up and trying to trade some forces here. Oh, could catch a lot of SCVs. In fact, they're pulled off the line now to start attacking. Fungal growth pinning down a lot of units in place. IdrA once again moving through and doing some pretty significant damage. Will MarineKing be able to stabilize this time?
I don't know, man. Each time they fight, IdrA ends up with a bigger supply lead. Look at that. He is now about 70 supply ahead. And he's just got so much economy that he can just keep remaking. Look at his bank right now. I wonder what the larva count is actually right now.
Let's see. Units have 20.
20 larvae. He just, I think, had a round pop, though, because I think I saw that shoot up right at the end. And immediately making some ultras and a few other units as well. So it looks like he has been keeping up well on his injects, too. And, of course, I mean, he is IdrA.
That's true. Yes. Very good mechanical player.
Almost 100 supply ahead right now. MarineKing just kind of slipping farther and farther behind here. He still has a chance, but he needs to get like a miracle engagement, basically. I mean, if anyone can do it, MarineKing can, but it may be even too much for the king at this point.
That's a good slogan. If anyone can do it, MarineKing can.
That's right.
Sounds like there's a jingle to be made there. Well, MarineKing giving some units to his opponent there.
Can't afford that.
Feeling charitable, but that's not going to help his position.
You get your wish, says the Kraken. Oh, except for him.
Yes. He survived. The boy who lived.
He wasn't left hanging.
That's a fact.
The marauder who wasn't left hanging. That's a children's book they read to all the kids.
At the new public school system that they're campaigning for. So all full circle now. Well, MarineKing
Timeline
has been
wrote that
able to
one.
stay alive, I mean, just by virtue of producing nothing but pretty cheap units, let's be honest, this entire game. He's not made a single siege tank, no real upper tech units either, but now IdrA just gonna try and smash his way through one more time. Oh, good fungal growth, pinning down a lot of units in place. Baneling's cleaning up almost all the rest. MarineKing down to under 50 supply.
Yeah, and that is going to be an insurmountable lead to come back from, hands down. IdrA looking like he's going to take out the possible ace of Team Prime in game 1 here. Yeah, I mean, they you know, Prime's been doing this. They've been, he's dancing the Ultras. Oh, man.
Okay,
IdrA.
T-minus 5 seconds to Reddit.
IdrA saying that MarineKing, you're random. Oh, he's dancing the Zerglings and the Ultras now. MarineKing's random blankety blank didn't work.
GG! And Evil Geniuses wins game number 1. IdrA defeating MarineKing in a 35-minute game to start.